What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 2, Week 3 of the Rundall Division. We've got 5 best-of-3 matchups for you guys today. Should be a lot of fun. And tomorrow, we have the Unhindered Division, which means 5 more best-of-3s. So 10 best-of-3s every single week for 9 weeks should be a lot of fun. Before we get into the matchup previews for what's going on in this video, let's take a quick look at the standings on how the Rundall Division shakes out within the first couple weeks. We've got a 3-way tie for first between Machen X's Shoopufs Sweetheart, Coppola's the Gnostics, and AllSmokedUp's Gumi Gods, all sitting with 6 points up at the top. My team, the Demon Detectives, all alone in 4th place with 4 points. And then we've got a 3-way tie at 5th between SurfTaco's the Supperenes, Willie Goats' the Corpse Brigade, and Mr. Aloha's Pineapple Pizza. Down at the bottom, we got King Delita in 8th place with the Black Sheep Knights with 1 point, and a 2-way tie in last place currently with Sandrooster's Bearhemian Rhapsody and Unhindered's the Storm Reborn. Again, this is only 2 weeks in and there's a 9-week regular season, so even the teams at the bottom have so much time to catch up, and that top 4 spot is really what you're trying to get by the end of the season. So without further ado, let's look at the very first matchup preview of this week. For the first matchup of Week 3, we've got Unhindered on the left here of Guild Eureka's Ward, coach of the Storm Reborn. On the right side, we've got Coppola of the Guild Galleon, coach of the Gnostics. And for Unhindered side, unfortunately, doesn't have any points yet. He's going to have a tough matchup this week. Coppola's team, by a lot of people, considered possibly the best team in the league. We'll see if that remains to be true throughout the season and remains to be true this week. We'll find out. But on Unhindered side, he's got that warm triangle set up. For his units, he's got lightning, fire, and wind element to kind of try and complement each other. For his UR units, he's got Esther, Sorrow, More the Merrier, Little Lila Halloween, Rain, Tifa, and Frederica. And for those lower cost units, he's got Phoebe as Time Mage, White Mage support, Sosha, who just caught her master ability too, so maybe we see her. She could be kind of buffed up from where she was previously, and obviously has Mish for some of those Toad Occluder shenanigans that he likes to bring out. On Coppola's side here, we've got a Light Element, we've got Lightning Element, and we've got Ice Element. For those UR units, we've got Starlight Elena, who is tied for the kill leader up to this point in the season. Skahal, my personal favorite, Cloud, Lucio, Raldor, Ildira, and Victoria. And for those low-cost units, McLeod is a beast for 60, Lilith, I hope to see her. I'm not sure what exactly she will bring, but we know what Naya brings at 40 cost. She is an absolute stud of a unit. So getting into this matchup, let's go ahead and take a look and see what the players decided to bring out. All right, guys, matchup number 1, game number 1. We've got Coppola on the left side versus Unhindered. And for Coppola, he's showing that Skahal as the unit on the front slot. So I'm expecting probably the Skahal Cloud Naya combination, which we do see. So on Unhindered side, we've got More the Merrier, Little Lila Halloween, and Mish on the right side here. Coppola, Cloud going to run together. This is the concentration buff. This got a nice upgrade with the job upgrades buff. The Nightblade sub now gives an agility buff, so that concentration buff, or whatever it's called, is much, much better than it used to be. On an Unhindered side, what is he bringing out? Treasure Hunter's Fortune. So agility and luck up. Is this an evasion angle from Unhindered, or is it just specifically to try and get luck up for, you know, some of that crit evade and agility to get the turns faster? We'll have to find out. But More the Merrier going to get the re-raise online. Reflect going onto the Skahal. This could be pretty crucial. Unhindered side here with the 2 Wind Mages, probably some reflectable spells coming out. Will we see the Toad reflect on itself? That would be pretty funny to see, to be honest. I think it was 2 weeks ago, we saw Coppola reflect a Disable back onto Sandrooster's team. Skahal's charging a spell, though. This is probably a Thundaga Disposer coming out. Naya's going to walk forward. She's not going to buff anything. Thundaga Disposer comes out. 10,000 damage is a lot. She thankfully has her re-raise online. Will Little Lila Halloween, excuse me, go for the heal? Yes, she will. Height base cure. That is a beautiful angle where we can't see the unit whatsoever. This map is kind of strange. Bear with me. Drain Evocation comes out. That is apparently not a reflectable spell. 4,700 damage, heals herself. Not super important since she already got healed. That being said, Cloud moves up, cannot buff. What is the turn order going to be here? Skahal's going to go. What does the cast time look like? Does this go off? Yes, it does. That is going to one-shot her again. And Unhindered's team up against it. Little Lila Halloween could go for a full life potentially. But my question is, does she have it on? And does Naya get this heal off before she can hit Skahal? Because if she gets this heal off, it's going to be hard. I think she needs to go for damage here. Actually, I think about it, and it wouldn't have mattered because Skahal has Reflect. That would have just hit herself in the face. Man, this team is so hard to deal with. Here's the Kiraga Benevolent. Will I see what I said? Does the toad go off? Does it get reflected? It does. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Unhindered, but Mish turns himself into a little frog. Oh gosh. I'm so sorry, Unhindered. I love you, man. You know that I think you're awesome, and I'm so sorry. Coppola's team is so damn hard to deal with. But something about Mish toading himself is really, really funny to me. Naya's going to channel a spell. Does she really heal at this health rate? She is such a good healer for 40 cost, man. That Kiraga Benevolent. And I think one of the biggest things about why Naya is so damn good too is she comes into the fight with hate down. Cloud's going to go for the beautiful limit break. I believe Cop records on the new Google Play version on the computer, I think. Unless this is just how iPhones look, but this film that he sends in is absolutely gorgeous. But man, that team is so damn hard to deal with. Coppola's team is so strong. He has both an incredible light angle and lightning angle. I'm very curious to see what Unhindered has as a response here. I think it's too threatening to go into the reflect. Like, if you're going to bring in the mages, I think you have to play up really, really hard because it's so hard to get through that Naya reflect. You either toad yourself or you more literally Halloween yourself with damage. It's just so hard to get around. So what does he come up with in game 2? He's going to have to find something really creative to beat this team. Let's go ahead and dive into it and see what he brought. Okay, guys, game number 2 here. We had the Skahal showing again on the left side for Coppola, and Unhindered changing up a little bit. So he's going with the Phoebe, and he's going with Rain, rather than the more the merrier and Mish combination. So doesn't want to toad himself. I respect him for that decision. That's probably smart. Can Rain tank up Skahal? My guess is no, because Skahal hits so damn hard, but bringing a magic tank might be a good option because Skahal is just so dang threatening. What does Naya go for? Does she reflect him again? I imagine she probably does. Little Leela Halloween goes for the Decider of Fate. She can't reach the damage, unfortunately, before getting the reflect buff off, but Amethyst Blaze, 4420 damage, not bad. Can they get more damage on this Skahal before Naya heals him? What does Phoebe do? She go for a haste, go for a quicken. She's actually going to go for Aurora of Blessings. Interesting. I'm not sure about that decision just because you can, I don't know if Unhindered knows this, but you can turn abilities on and off going into it. And I think, I don't know if he knows that, but you can do that. I would say when you see the lightning comp come up, probably turn that off and just go for like a haste or quicken instead. That being said, Naya's going to channel something. I imagine this is probably a heal. Magic Reflex coming out from Rain, though. That could be big. This flare would have hurt quite a bit, I think. But dodges it. Naya's going for the heal. Little Leela's going to hit with this. The reflect is up again. She's going to hit her. Oh, no. She one-shot herself. Naya is just so damn good, man, for 40 cost. There is a reason that Coppola took her in the first round, and she is showing it. Naya gets her first kill on the board of the season because of that reflect. That gets counted as her kill. So, Skahal, what does he have in store? Can he finish him off? No, he's magic reflexing. Rain is trying his damned hardest. Honestly, if not for that reflect, maybe Unhindered's in a decent spot here, but it's just going to be so hard to beat. And Phoebe's sitting in the back. Holy's going to come through. Does Naya pick up her second kill? No, she doesn't. Rain's a little bit too tanky. What does Phoebe have in store? She's channeling something, but she's just sitting in the back. And this is looking like another really dominant win for Coppola. Nothing new for him. Honestly, his team has been so damn strong. Full Life comes out. I mean, that can help, but what can Little Leela do against this team comp? Naya, imagine, doesn't have anything to do. She's just going to walk up, probably. Oh, no, she goes for Shadow Flare. What kind of damage does this do? 3,000 isn't bad. Drops the AoE resist. Like, the only thing they could do is, like, Little Leela goes for big AoE into a Quicken. Like, a second big AoE. That's good damage. Is this a Quicken? No, it's a Curata. Oh, my gosh. If that was Quicken... Unhindered might have just, like, potentially won this game or came very, very close to it. No joke. Like, that was... I don't know how he's going to win with this with just Phoebe. Thundaga Disposer comes out. Coppola's going to pick up the win. Damn, though, that game was actually crazy close. And I think, honestly, if Unhindered had a third game and was able to switch that up slightly to the point where Phoebe can drop a Quicken instead of Curata, I don't know, man. I think Skahal had re-raise on him, but Cloud drops to that because he took over half health on the first hit. Cloud would have dropped. Skahal probably comes back on the re-raise, and I don't know if Phoebe has any damaging spells on, but all she would need is one hit to take that victory. And honestly, Unhindered almost took that. Even though Coppola took a convincing game one, and that looked one-sided, that was very, very close. So, hey, man, props to Coppola, props to Unhindered. Honestly, a pretty good series, and yeah, I think for Unhindered, I would say in the future, like, just remember that you can turn abilities on off. If you see like a team that's not the light team, even if you're preparing for it, you can turn that TMR off and set something up like a haste or a quicken. And yeah. Anyway, a good first series. We've got 4 more for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Matchup number 2 for week 3. On the left side, we've got King Delita of Guild Hokuten, coach of the Black Sheep Knights. Managed to pick up a point last week against the Gumi Gods. Unfortunately, couldn't take the series, but got himself on the board. On the right side, we've got Willie Goats, who managed to take his first series win last week against Unhindered of the Guild Solaris Corpse, coach of the Corpse Brigade, excuse me. On the left side, King Delita's team, he's got some of that warm element, like Triangle. He doesn't have the lightning side of it, but he's got wind and fire. Also has Agrius, a very good 80 cost unit. But just to go through the teams on the UR level, we've got Glacial Flagbearer, Mont, King of Leonis, Terra, Agrius, Varouche, Mashri, Winter, Fina. And then for those lower cost units, we've got Helena, Adelard, Vadim, excuse me, Fina is not a UR unit. I said that wrong, but you guys understand what I'm saying. King Delita here, what will we see? Number of units that he hasn't brought out yet. He hasn't brought Terra out. He hasn't brought Adelard, Helena, or Mashri Winter. Will we see any of them this week? We will find out. On the right side for Willie Goats, he has brought Knight of Runestern in all 4 of his games to this point. Hasn't brought out Dark Fina yet. I'm surprised about that. Will we see her? I don't know. Will we see Orlandu? Will we see Ramza or Ketone? Haven't seen either of them yet. One of the players, or one of the units that I think has surprised me a little bit was Delita. Seeing an evasion Delita last week, along with the evasion Mustadio, some really cool techniques brought out from Willie last week. Will we see more of that, or will he shake it up? Let's go ahead and dive into the second match of this week. Game number 1 of King Delita versus Willie Goats' team. We've got the Mustadio showing again for Willie Goats. So is it that evasion Mustadio Delita team, or is it something different? And we've got Winter Mashri showing up for King Delita. So a brand new comp coming up from King Delita. I did talk about this in the matchup preview that I would love to see a couple of these units. So Terra and Winter Mashri, what can they do? So Terra's going to pop the Sorrow TMR on turn 1, get that haste up and the hate down. And no, from Willie Goats, it is not Knight of Runestern. So is this evasion still with Dark Fina, or is it something different? But Dark Fina, we haven't seen her yet either. So some new units to this division. Keenblade comes out, gets the CT up. Incredibly good for getting multiple buffs up. Dragon Scale. So this is an upgraded version of that ability, which is also already really good with the job upgrades, giving itself Protect and a number of different buffs. Sweet support, getting the agility up on the team. I like this early turn rotation for King Delita. And what does Mustadio have? Goes for the Safeguard plus again. So just channeling that buff multiple times. I don't think he hit everybody the first time. I thought he did. Maybe he only got himself and Delita. Either way, Law of Mitigation going to come out from Dark Fina. And I apologize for this map. There are certain angles where you can't see units. Crush Accessory Plus comes out, 2,800 damage. Honestly, Terra tanked that up pretty well. Meltdown Plus, 5,169. Looking pretty good for King Delita to start. And what does Winter Mashri have? 39 AP. She's jumping up. Terra, she goes for another Meltdown Plus, takes out the Mustadio right out of the gates. An early 3v2. And Precision Jump, 3910 onto the Dark Fina. I think she is pretty weak to Pierce resistance, actually. Is Fina channeling a superior healing at this health level? Shadow Flare comes out. What does Dark Fina have for damage? 2946 onto the Terra. Didn't see how much it was on Winter Mashri, but not much more than that. Crush Accessory Plus. Terra does not have her Courage online, so she drops. And no, she's actually channeling Dark Veil. Oh, boy. That superior healing probably would have been better because the AoE would have hit Winter Mashri. Is Fina going to get stuck in a buff rotation in the back? That is my question, because honestly, if that doesn't happen, this looks decent for King Delita, but Dark Fina's probably going to go up. Yeah, she's going to channel herself. She did that twice in a row. I think she went for Dark Veil on Terra and them last time. Now she went for herself. Winter Mashri takes out Dark Fina, but she's got re-raise. This is going to be a massive uphill battle for King Delita here. Honestly, this looked really good, but sometimes these support units with certain buffs can just get in this type of buff rotation, and you have to be so specific with how you use them, or else this can happen. I know this happened to me last year, or last season in my match versus Unhindered. The auto cure helps her out though, so at least she won't have to heal herself. Delita, being the smart guy he is, actually walks up and hits Fina rather than the Winter Mashri, who probably would have died. Law of Invigoration going to make this even harder. Honestly, I thought this was maybe possible for a second, but I don't think this is going to be possible. I think Willie Goats is probably going to take this. Delita only has 1 AP, so he should buff here. Yeah, he's going to walk back. Use Chant. I have never seen this ability for sacrificing his own health to heal Dark Fina. That is not a super great heal, but it's cool to see. I've never seen that tech. Shadow Flare comes out, 4188, drops AoE resist. Fina's probably going to go for a heal on herself here and just try and stall this out as long as she can. Superior healing is a really nice move, but at some point she's going to have to do damage. Delita slowly whittling his own health bar down. Can Fina take him out? She's channeling something. What does she go for here? Sorcery Strike comes out, 7234. That's going to take her out in one hit. It is over. Willie Goats wins game number 1 against King Delita. Again, I will say that ended up looking one-sided for Willie, but if Fina wasn't sitting channeling like buffs over and over, I honestly think King Delita probably wins that, because Dark Fina was down to like 1600 health, no re-raise left. I don't know if Terra could have somehow got courage off online, but hey, who knows? Maybe that'll be the switch up for game 2. Maybe he sticks with the same comp and just changes his buffs from Fina so that she doesn't get stuck doing that. I don't know. We'll have to see, but let's jump into game 2 and see what they brought. Game number 2 here between King Delita and Willie Goats. So we've got the exact same team comps coming out. Normally, I don't like when teams do this after they lose a game, but I will say I think this was winnable for King Delita after the first game. Like I said, I think a couple of adjustments with maybe abilities or movement could be the difference. Mustadio going to go for that Safeguard Plus buff on the whole team, so he shouldn't channel this a second time, I don't think. Unless that's an ability that stacks. Maybe it does. Keenblade coming out from Delita. CT up on everybody, and I assume this is probably the re-raise coming out from Dark Fina. Winter Mashri going with the same buff. My question is, what does Fina do differently? Yep, getting that re-raise and AoE resist up. This is a good first turn here from King Delita. Getting that sweet support on everybody. Does she still have the Dark Veil up? Will she get stuck using that, or will she walk forward and Sparkle Shower? Shadow Flare going on the whole team, though. This could hurt a lot. Not crazy damage, like a good chunk to Fina for sure, but dropping the AoE resist can be big. Meltdown Plus, 2791. Honestly, would typically do more, but Dark Fina just has so much AoE resist when she's healthy. Crush Accessory Plus, tanked up pretty well from Winter Mashri. There's a full sequence of King Delita's, all his units going first here, although that charge time is pretty long. Meltdown Plus comes out, knocks out the Dark Fina. She has a re-raise. But who is this jump going on from Winter Mashri? Is it on Dark Fina? If so, that could be pretty massive. Fina probably channeling a cure here. Mustadio pretty much needs to take somebody out, or this is going to be really bad. And that's exactly what I said. He takes out Fina. That heal can be big. Dragon Dive takes out Dark Fina. Her re-raise is gone. She is gone. This is now a 2v2 with 2 UR units looking for King Delita. But Delita takes out King Delita's Terra. Winter Mashri, not enough AP, just standard attacks to Delita. I don't know if she can pull this 1v2 off. It's going to be tough. Seal Evil, 3602. Mustadio doing some good damage. Does Delita have the damage? I don't think so. Does Winter Mashri have an AoE that can hit both? I know she had an AoE earlier. Does she have enough? No, but Drain Dive, she heals back up. Is she going to heal enough, though? It's a 1v1 between Winter Mashri and Mustadio. What does Mustadio have? 28-16 on a crit. That's enough to do it. Winter Mashri drops. Willie Goats picks up the 2-0 series win. Hats off to Willie Goats. Impressive showing from him. Honestly, that was a really good series. That second game was really close. Like I said, I think the first game could have went either way if something goes slightly different. Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that there was a third game that actually got played between these two opponents just for fun. King Delita actually won the third game just for fun. He actually switched up his comp into like a Glaciella comp and ended up winning that. So I just want to let you guys know these guys did play an extra third game for fun. I do like doing that in my sets. If I ever get 2-0'd or win 2-0, I like trying to do a third game just for fun, just to screw around. I think it's good practice and stuff like that. So both of these games were pretty close, and King Delita won the third game that didn't matter. So unfortunately, he doesn't pick up a point, but just want to let you know this series was actually very, very close. So let's go ahead and jump into the third series of this week. Matchup number 3 of week number 3. On the left side, we've got the Gumi Gods, who, aside from Coppola's win this week, going into the week at least, he was tied for first place. Can he keep that train rolling with that 3-0 record to try and get to 9 points? We're going to find out. But AllSmokedUp of the guild, Star Anise, coach of the Gumi Gods, versus Mr. Aloha of the Dead Society and coach of Pineapple Pizza. Pineapple Pizza currently sitting at 3 points, lost to his guildmate SurfTaco last week, looking to try and get back into that win column. On the left side here, for AllSmokedUp, he's got Astrius, Sylvie, Locke, CHUNAK, Sakura, Raychez, Camilo, and for those lower costs, he's got Mont, Slime, who is an excellent support, even at our adjusted 50 cost, and Surge S at 30. For Mr. Aloha, we've got Velis, Celis, Eliza, Glaciella, Moore, Barrett, Kilfay, Grace, Valade, and Liarte. Liarte actually made a really almost clutch play last week with that charm shot that she had. She almost made SurfTaco kill his own team with the Supperene, just barely couldn't take the victory. But going into this matchup, what will we see? I know Astrius, CHUNAK, Raychez have all been really, really strong. No lightning on Pineapple Pizza's side to necessarily deter him from that. So will he go with that? Or will he go with one of his light comps? He's got really good angles on both of those sides. For Mr. Aloha, he's got a lot of water and a lot of ice strength. I expect to see one of those things come through. Will we eventually see the Barrett or the Kilfay come out? I would love to see either one of those units. Will that be the time for this? I don't know, but let's go ahead and find out. Let's jump into match 3 and see what the players decided to bring. Game number 1 of this series, we've got Mr. Aloha on the left versus AllSmokedUp on the right. Mr. Aloha hovering that Glaciella Wazette, who unfortunately lost last week, but was a powerhouse in week 1. The lock showing from AllSmokedUp. Who else will we see from it? Is it like Sakura, or it is Sakura? So it's Lock, Sakura, Slime. On the left side, we've got Celis, Valade, and Glaciella. So tank, DPS support coming out from Mr. Aloha. 2 damage dealers and a support coming out from AllSmokedUp. AP Hunt comes out immediately, 2600 damage. Normally, I would say this isn't good because you don't get a buff online. Actually, Glaciella has bells, so that AP removal really doesn't make that much of a difference. She's going to have tons of AP, but this could hurt. Celis did not get Runic up. I don't think. I think she just walked up into damage, right? Sweet support comes out from Valade. What is this damage going to do? This is going to be a lot. Rebel Intention. It freezes for a second. 9,702. Glaciella does not live that. She is down. Oh, boy. This looks like an uphill climb for Mr. Aloha. Sakura is nothing to mess with. And unfortunately, this positioning, I think this is why you see some Celises turn off their ranged abilities. Because in this situation, when you don't get Runic Blade up, like if she has that up, Glaciella takes no damage from Sakura, and this looks very, very different, but she unfortunately did not get that up in time, and now Sakura can just lay into her. Rebel Intention, 4,000 damage. Valade's a good support. He does have full life, but I think he's going for heal. He's going for Curata. That's just not going to be enough. Celis isn't going to have the damage. She's going to have to tank for a while Valade somehow gets a full life off, and I just don't see how that's going to happen. Jamming Thrust comes out. I mean, Slime is pretty healthy. And she doesn't even have hate anymore. Locke's going to go up and do a bunch of damage to Valade. And the Limit Break comes out from Sakura. Who is this hitting? Is this hitting Celeste or Valade? Can she really find that angle? Wow. I guess it's the height range because Locke is too high. Man, how did she find the angle on both of those units and not Locke? Is that something that only hits enemies? I don't know. But that's an impressive angle to find. I imagine Locke is probably going to end this. No, he doesn't have the AP. He's going to go double resist. He says, hey, Sakura, you can end this fight for me. I don't need the kill. I'll hand it to you. Slime going to go Hustle Dance +1 just to show, hey, we are all fully healthy, and this is a perfect 3-0. Lightblade coming out, 1278, just enough damage. A really impressive showing in game 1 from AllSmokedUp. I mean, his team has been really strong all season. That being said, I do wonder how differently that goes if Celis gets Runic up. Like, is that the only difference? Because if I'm Mr. Aloha and I planned this team for the light team, you might think about just running it again and backing Celis way up, or turning off her ranged abilities to verify and like make sure she gets Runic up. If that's up, I don't know. I don't think Glaciella drops like that, and maybe she puts out enough DPS. So we'll have to see what the adjustment is for Mr. Aloha. Does he go with that switch, or does he go with a completely different comp? Let's head into game 2 and let's take a look. Game number 2, we've got Mr. Aloha hovering that Glaciella. So my thought is probably the same team coming from him, and I think he's probably doing what I said. He probably turns abilities off to make sure to get that Runic up. However, you're going to notice AllSmokedUp is saying, hey, I don't care. I'm changing up my team. I'm not going magic. I think he's running CHUNAK Astrius, or is this CHUNAK Raychaz is what I was trying to say, but it is CHUNAK Astrius.
I'll do away with these enemies.
I don't know. And now all of a sudden that Runic probably doesn't matter at all. I mean, the protect and shell buff is really, really good. Tiger Maw comes out from Astrius immediately, 4619. He's going to be low on AP though. He did not get any buffs off. That might be for the best. Blade might be able to heal her up. As long as CHUNAK can't chain and kill her right away, I think this is actually pretty good for Mr. Aloha, which he won't. He's going to go ready to engage. Blade should be able to heal. Okay. What does Blade have here? Is it a Curata like last time, or does he go for a buff? I don't know what his AI heals at, like what their rate is. Leaping Assault from Surges did not do a ton of damage. Gets himself some regen though, and he's forward, hopefully to try and tank. Curata's going to heal her almost up to full, and this is looking much better for Mr. Aloha early. Leap Strike comes out from Glaciella, not a ton of damage. You have to imagine probably some pierce resistance built up by AllSmokedUp. Glaciella Bioblade, a skill that I don't see much, but that tells me maybe some of those ranged abilities are off. Constricting Cleave, and now Astrius is fully out of AP at this moment. So that was a lot of damage from CHUNAK. Blade's going to have to get a big heal here. And Glaciella going to have to put in some work. Curata coming out. How much does it do? 3778. That'll be enough to heal or to live through an Astrius hit just because he's out of AP. Leap Strike takes out... I thought for that was Astrius for a second, but it's actually the Surges. 3v2 in Mr. Aloha's favor. Oh, the prescient advantage, though, is going to hurt a lot. Oh my gosh, that's actually so fortunate for AllSmokedUp, because that gives him 20 AP, and then he Tiger Maws the 2. Holy shit, that counter was actually insane. That counter was so fortunate, because not only does it give him AP, it does enough to kill the Celis, who now doesn't have hate, which allows CHUNAK to hit the Glaciella. That counter was huge. Blade, what are you going to do here? Goes for the full life on Glaciella. She gets re-raised. Can she carry this? 0 AP from... gets the counter in her favor. Not quite as big as his counter, but it does something. This next ability should be able to kill him. She does. She takes him out. Astrius falls. It is now a 2v1. This is not over for Mr. Aloha, but what does CHUNAK do? Displace her. Oh, boy. Man, we have seen some work from CHUNAK in this season. CHUNAK, a unit that I didn't think a ton of, is an absolute beast. I have to imagine he takes out Blade here. Razor's Edge, 4528, not quite enough. But unless Blade can pull out some major damage, yeah, he's just going to heal himself. At this point, this is probably a slow bleed. You have to imagine walk up, standard attack, get some AP, and then go for something the next turn. He might not be low enough to heal himself. Maybe he goes for damage here? Nope, he's going to heal himself. Honestly, you like to see that AI from your support. You want to be able to have them heal even at something like 60%. Razor's Edge comes out again. This might be damage because he was at full health when he casted it. Nope. He is a true support AI. He just casted Barb Blizzara instead of attacking, and the auto attack does an exact 3,000 damage. AllSmokedUp picks up the win. I'm not going to say Mr. Aloha wins that if AllSmokedUp doesn't get that counter. But that counter is actually huge. Something that people probably don't notice immediately and pick up on that. The fact that Astrius gets 20 AP there allows the fact, like the counter getting damage on Celis and the AoE makes it so that Glaciella dies the next turn. Glaciella 100% does not die that next turn. I have to think that counter was the difference. I really do think that was probably the difference. That being said, I've said this before, it's part of the game and it's percentage chances, and you know, sometimes you have to try and bring as much reaction block rate as you can to try and hope that doesn't happen. But it's just part of the game, and sometimes RNGesus is on your side. So that being said, GG. A couple of really, really nice matches, honestly. A couple of really good games. And AllSmokedUp going to pick up the win and sit at 9 points again. So still tied for that first place spot. A really nice, impressive showing from him. Another new player right up at the top of the standings. So that being said, 3 series in the books. Let's go ahead and check out the 4th one between me and MageNX. 4th matchup of the week. We've got MageNX on the left side of the guild, Lucis, coach of the Shoopufs Sweetheart. And of course, my team, KSaun, on the right side, Guild Thunder Gods, coach of the Demon Detectives. Coming into this week, I have 4 points, currently sitting with 1 win and 1 mitigated loss. MageNX with a clean 2-0-0 record. Has yet to drop a single game, 4-0 going into this series. A decent amount on the line here. If MageNX wins this series, he will be tied for first with the Gumi Gods and with the Gnostics. As we've seen, those two have already won their series this week. If I win, I will be in 3rd place, whether or not MageNX wins a game or not, because at worst, if I win, we would be tied at 7 points, and I would have the head-to-head tiebreaker. If I win 2-0, I'll be at 7, and he is at 6. So a lot riding on this matchup to see where the standings fall. For MageNX's side, he's got Ice, he's got Earth, and he's even got that Sweetheart Ildira Splash. So to run through, he's got Alaya, who has been incredibly impressive, 7-1-5 with a 4-0 record. Oberon, Snow, Zoma, Sweetheart Ildira, Luel, and Miranda. And then for those lower costs has Curry, Rabis, and Uni. Uni making it to every single match to this point. That 30 cost unit just allowing a lot of flexibility for Machen. And on my side here on the right, we've got Little Leo the Bold, Ibarra, Lightning, Garvel, Yuna, Moraga, and Kane, along with Shadowlynx, Titus, and Severo. So for me personally, only a couple different comps that I've brought out. I have brought Little Leo the Bold and Shadowlynx to every single game that I have been in. And then the flex up to this point has been Moraga and Yuna. I will tell you, going into this week, my strategy was for game 1, I decided to go with an Ibarra, Lightning, Severo comp. So 3 units that I have not brought out to this point. My kind of thought process was, after testing in Arena versus some missile comps and even against some Earth comps, I actually felt like I was succeeding decently well with my Lightning team. And I think the biggest reason for that is Ibarra has Lightning resist breaks or lightning resist debuffs for the enemies, and Lightning with her follow-up attack can actually do a decent amount of damage even to Earth units because it is non-elemental, if you're able to stack up like that crit damage and Man Eater to get her pursuit buff to do a decent amount of damage. So I thought this was something that he might not necessarily expect, so tried to throw him off a little bit, and I noticed that Severo can actually do a decent amount of damage to his team since he brings that magic damage. And if there was one weakness that I thought MageNX had as a team, it was that he was better against physical than magic. So that is a team that I decided to bring for game 1. Let's see if it works out for me, or if it fails. Let's go ahead and find out. Game number 1 of our matchup between myself and MageNX, and you can see I am hovering the Severo. Like I said, I'm trying to run the Severo Ibarra Lightning comp into whatever he is bringing. I know that seems probably foolish because he has some Earth units on his team, but I wasn't convinced he would go double Earth, and as you can see, he doesn't. He goes Zoma and Oberon, and I think with my 2 Lightning units, I still stand a decent chance here. So Ibarra's going to go with the Fall of Night buff, and one thing you're going to see from this 3-man team is they do a lot of solo buffing. I don't have a lot of group buffs that I want to get off. I want to make sure that they get their single buffs online. So Oberon's going to go get that critical evasion up and area attack resist buff. You're going to see this critical evasion is actually really big because I am trying to run a somewhat crit build on my Lightning. So the big question is, do I get the crits off? Arrowfall is going to come out from Uni. Doesn't do a ton of damage to the Ibarra. So not a huge deal to me. Haste Perpetuator going to come off from Severo. This is really big. You need to get that level 120 skill off for Severo if you want to have him do work. Going to pop the Black Rose Helena TMR on Ibarra and the Titus TMR on Lightning. So now Lightning is good to go. Now for 2 turns, she has the follow-up damage, and she also has increased crit rate and damage. So I'm hoping to get some big crits. The re-raise coming up from Zoma, though, so I'm going to have to kill him twice, and he has his self-heal. So it's going to be a lot to work through. Arrowfall coming up from Uni. Severo has that courage online. That Arrowfall, crucially though, gets rid of the haste. And one thing you'll notice, the monk sub job, the chakra buff. This was actually a mistake. I was playing around with my sub jobs and thought I had switched back to red mage, but I apparently didn't. And he kept the Monk sub job. Decent damage coming out from the first hit from lightning, but you're going to see that critical evasion buff coming out clutch. The pursuit buff, the pursuit follow-up attack did not crit, which probably would have been enough to kill if it critted. I think it would have done an extra 1332. I really do. It was doing a lot of damage in my test runs. Death Aesthetics coming out to break that barrier because it's a multi-hit chain. Ibarra going to walk up and standard attack the Zoma, which is big, but he still has the re-raise, so he's coming back. So at this point, Severo is going to attack the Zoma, and I'm thinking, sweet, Severo is going to take him out. Lightning actually walks up and steals the kill with the arm shot. I would have much preferred that she attacked the Oberon. Watergun Perpetuator coming out, so Severo misses that attack. So Oberon going to go up. He's in a 1v3 though. He's got his work cut out for him. He's going to go 8 path Dragon Shine. And my hope is, Ibarra, you need to somehow live this attack. She does not. And Severo wouldn't have, but he has his Courage online, crucially, from that job level 25 skill. Lightning goes Life Siphon too, but she doesn't have her follow-up attack on anymore. She already bursted both attacks. That is why that arm shot on Zoma was so big. Flare comes out from Severo. How much damage is this going to do? 6k, which is actually crucial. But you're going to notice this Severo walked right next to Lightning, and I'm thinking, oh god, no. Double hit from the Oberon, and what looked like something that was in really good shape for me, a 3v1 versus the Oberon, he manages to take because Severo walked up so close to him. I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I made two, in my opinion, really big mix-ups and screw-ups here. I forgot to switch back to the Red Mage sub-job for Severo. Based on his AI, on the way that it was playing in other fights I've tested, I think he would have just jamming thrusted instead of using Flare on the Zoma to get the kill. I think jamming thrust is actually less AP than Flare, and the casting time is less. So if that happened, you're going to notice Oberon finishes the game with 2649 health. Jamming thrust would have killed Zoma, which means Lightning wouldn't have had to arm shot the Zoma. Lightning would have arm shotted or done something like that to Oberon instead. Also would have had the follow-up attack, which so now comes down to, would it have done 2,649 damage? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. If the follow-up attack crits, I'm convinced that it does do that damage, but it would have been really close. It would have been tough to see. Another screw up that I made was, even if I had the Monk sub job on, even if I had that, I goofed and actually had a wrong piece of equipment on Severo. I did not have any casting time down. So he did not have like a perfect cast time reduction. It was basically one tick longer than I would have liked. And had it not been, he would have got the spell off in time anyway, and the Lightning would not have cut in front. So it just goes to show you how small, or like how big, some of these small changes can be. So I was kind of kicking myself after this first game because I really felt like I could have won it had I just made one of those correctly. One of those things, like done those correctly on Severo, but I don't know that for sure. Lightning basically would have had to do 2,649 damage in one turn to Oberon, and I don't know if she would have done that or not. So tough to say, but hats off to Machen X in this first game. And for game number 2, I decided, hey, another big thing that was really crucial is that Zoma has an AoE buff that drops bravery whenever his allies attack somebody. And this is really important to reduce Lightning's damage as a whole, because she is a physical unit, so a lot of her damage is based on bravery. Similarly to how Severo can do that, can just really reduce how much your physical damage units do. So my thought process was, hey, let's go with a triple mage comp. And if he brings that same team, then I feel pretty confident about it because the bravery down won't matter. I can bring Garvel instead of Lightning, and I trust that Garvel's damage will be higher to Oberon because they won't have that elemental disadvantage. So let's go ahead and see if the team that I planned actually worked out for me. Let's jump into it. Game number 2 between my team and Machen X's team. So you're going to see that I have that 4,500 magic stat. So I am bringing a full magic team, Severo, Garvel, and Ibarra. And from what I can see on the screen, it looks like it might potentially be the exact same team for Machen X. You're going to see it is. So he said, hey, I want a game with it. Let's stick with the same comp. And let's see if my adjustments make any difference. So Greater Chi Bearer coming up from Garvel. Get that physical and magic shield up. Ibarra is not going to get a buff off. She's just going to Wailing Storm right out of the gate. So I moved my position up just a little bit, get rid of the uni. He's not really the threat. Wasting some AP on him, but I will say getting rid of a unit right away is always some sort of benefit. Oblivion's presence coming out, so that bravery down Not really important for this matchup. However, does get a shield on himself. I think it's actually a physical shield though, so actually not a great buff. Spirit Blaster hits, decent damage, procs the heal right away. Severo getting his 120 skill off. One thing I will say is that Uni being gone means the haste will not be removed from Severo in this fight. Ibarra going to pop the limit break on Zoma. 7,781 damage onto Zoma. He crucially lives it. Not sure how much health he has. Gets his counter rate, which removes his own debuffs, which Ibarra did debuff him on her limit break. So the counter rate does help, or the counter chance does help quite a bit. Limit break coming out from Oberon tanked very well from Garble at this point. 3,300 damage. I'm very happy with that. That being said, 531 health for Zoma. He's going to pop the limit break, and I'm thinking Garble is probably toast here. So he is 5411. Garble is gone. Ibarra is low. And I'm thinking Severo's pretty far away. Does he have the range to hit damage? He doesn't. He actually goes for the Cura. 3346 heal. Ibarra's going to auto attack the Zoma. She is sitting there with 34 AP. Oberon, can she kill this Ibarra? Spinning Slash does not kill. So the Cura from Severo actually pretty huge to make her live a hit. 4763 coming out from Jamming Thrust. You're going to see I did remember to switch to Red Mage sub. Standard attack coming out from Ibarra. That probably seems strange, but the only ability that would have done more was Wailing Storm. She did not have enough AP from it, and now it is a 1v1 between Severo and Oberon. I'm thinking, Severo, you got this, buddy. He does. 4,700 damage from the Jamming Thrust. So Severo in his last 2 turns dealing about 9,400 damage between the 2 turns. So I was very happy to see my level 30 Severo kind of, or cost 30 Severo kind of pop off here. Was very excited to get the game 2 win. And that kind of brings us into the game 3. So my thought process was, dang, if I could have made my adjustments in game 1, could I have won this in 2 games? Probably not, realistically, because I think he probably would have changed to something else in game 2, realistically, if I had won game 1, but who knows. That being said, going into game 3, I thought it was very, very likely that he wouldn't keep the same team comp based on the fact that my Magic team did very well against it. So not entirely sure what else he would bring. I thought I would just kind of shake things up, and I didn't want to have any sort of elemental disadvantage. So for this last fight, I decided to keep the Severo and the Garble, and I decided to swap out Ibarra, even though she has functioned really well, and throw in Little Leela the Bold. I thought that it was very likely, since I brought all Magic in game 2, he would not bring the Zoma for that bravery down. So let's go ahead and see if my assumptions were correct, or if not. Let's find out. Game number 3 of my set with H&X, and you're going to see those attack and magic stats look very, very similar to before. So I'm thinking he's still got the Zoma. That was not what I thought. I honestly thought after winning with a full Magic team, he would go to something else. And I'm thinking, did he outthink me here? I'm not entirely sure. That being said, I think with Little Leela the Bold, Garble, Severo, I have a chance regardless. So Garble's going to pop his barrier, run into the fight. Oberon's going to back up, get that AoE resistant crit evasion buff up. And Little Leela the Bold's going to go for the slash attack resist piercing rate. More importantly, though, trying to get that self heal up in case she gets low. Same thing, that bravery down buff. So I'm thinking that doesn't matter unless it hits Little Leela. If it hits the other 2, not great. Crucially, that buff did not hit Uni before he hits this damage, or else it would have dropped her bravery. Severo going to walk up, actually go for Water Gun. So I'm a little disappointed here because that only hit Zoma, only dropped the bravery of Zoma as Garble deletes Uni. Did not hit Oberon, which I really wanted to get, and he didn't get his level 25 skill up. So if they go for him, he will likely die. So I'm hoping that they cannot reach Severo here or go for somebody else. Zoma's going to go next. What does he have? He goes for Side Cannon, hoping he lives it. He does not. He drops in 1 hit. So not getting that job level 25 skill hurts. That being said, I've got my 2 UR units left. Spirit Blaster coming out, good damage, just like the last fight. Gets that self heal up, and what can Little Leela the Bold do? Actually nothing. She goes for Iron Body Stance. She can't reach the Zoma at this angle. So Oberon going to go for the limit break. 8th Path Dragon Shine. Who is this going into? Is it the Garble or is it the Leela? It goes into the Garble. Again, tanked up pretty well. Even with a crit, 3764, I'm happy with that. But Zoma now gets to follow up. Death Aesthetics takes him out. And that is not looking good. Little Leela is going to have to 2v1. She has got 3 good buffs on herself, but actually from not moving, goes next. Zoma does, but Little Leela gets a dodge. So now I'm thinking, okay, if I can take out Oberon, I might be able to dodge Zoma and win this game. But Oberon did not take a ton of damage from there. Thunder Smite comes out, 4907, and drops Bravery. So her Bravery is dropping, and that is not good for me. Frigid Breath comes out, procs the Courage, heals herself, This is looking very bad for me. I have to take out Oberon here. She goes for the Zoma Wicked Pummel. And I'm thinking, is there anything else that can save me here? If he Thunder Smites, I'm probably gone unless I can live a hit. 46-38. It comes out. Oberon takes me out. And end up losing game 3. So hats off to Machen. He ends up winning this series. Again, I think I probably could have won game 1 had I done the right thing with Severo, but who knows if he sticks with the same team for game 2, even if I do win that. So it's hard to say. Machen X is an incredible competitor, an incredible team. I got to voice chat with him this week. He's actually a really, really awesome guy. I had a really great time just kind of talking with him and hanging out with him. I like to try and do that whenever I can. I unfortunately couldn't do it last week because Coppola's mic was broken, but pretty much any chance I get, I try to do that. I don't know if I'll get to do it with Sandrooster this week because I'll be on vacation and probably won't have access or much time to do it. But Sandrooster's my guy too, so I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point. But anyway, GG's to Machen X. It was a great series. Disappointed I couldn't take the win in the series, but that being said, 3 weeks in, having 5 total points, and my schedule being Willie Goats, who is currently sitting at 6 points, Machen X, who is sitting at 9 points, and Coppola at 9 points, I think given that schedule, I'm pretty content being at 5 points right now. So it is what it is. Maybe it's copium. I don't know, but I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than I was last season up till this point with a harder schedule than I had up to that point. So GG's to Machen. Let's go ahead and check out this last series of the week and see who wins. All right, for our final matchup this week, we've got Sandrooster of the guild Get Swifty, coach of Bearhemian Rhapsody versus SurfTaco on the right side. I do apologize. It is not Ohana anymore. He is part of Dead Society as his guild. That is a misprint on my part, and I do apologize for that. He was previously of the guild Ohana, but coach of the Supperenes. He is our defending champ of season 1. Bearhemian Rhapsody, not off to the start that I think he hoped for. I know we had this team ranked very high, 3rd overall in our preseason rankings. That being said, his 2 opponents to this point has been Machen X and Coppola, both who are sitting at 9 points. So he has had a very tough schedule to this point. Can he finally get himself on the board? That is what we're looking to find out. And on the right side for SurfTaco, he is currently sitting with a 1-1 record with 3 points. Took out his guildmate last week, but lost to, again, Machen X in the first week. So a really strong opponent. So not easy schedules for either of these teams. SurfTaco looking to try and reach that top 4 with a win in this series, and Bearhemian Rhapsody looking to stay in the thick of it to try and get 3 points on the board. So on the left, Sandrooster's got JAYDEN, Summer Helena, Queen of Horde, Mashri, Queen, Engelbert, and Ravi's Winter, along with Cyrell, Murmur, and Zazan. On the right side, we've got SurfTaco with Perrine, Shadowlynx on Ice, Lucia Halloween, Elsrel Summer, Aerith, Frederica Halloween, Whisper, Elshra Ramada, and Little Leela. For SurfTaco, Perrine has been a beast. Only brought her to two games, both last week, but she went a perfect 6-0-0. She took every single kill. She looked very, very dominant. Halloween Lucia, don't sleep on her either. Even though it's an 0-2 record, she is an absolute beast, along with Summer Elsie, and would not be surprised to see Aerith either. On Sandrooster's team, will he finally bring out Zazan? I think that's the question. This was his first overall pick, and through 2 weeks has not used him. I thought we would probably see like the double JAYDEN comp at some point. Will we see it finally this week? I don't know, but Summer Helena, also another option with like Queen or something like that. I know he has been liking the Engelbert as a tank, likes that Murmur 40 cost, a lot of different options on both sides, but let's go ahead and dive into this last match and see who ends up taking the victory. Game number 1 here between Sandrooster hovering the Engelbert and SurfTaco hovering Lucia Halloween. So SurfTaco currently sitting at 3 points. Sandrooster trying to get on the board for the first time. SurfTaco running Halloween Lucia, Aerith, and Little Leela versus Sandrooster's Engelbert, Murmur, and Mashri Queen of Horn. Mashri going to go in for that Queen's Edict, get the Protect and Magic Attack up. I'm not sure how much Protect is going to matter. The Magic Attack might be nice. But the Magic Barrier coming out immediately from Aerith, going to be a nice tech against this Magic team from Sandrooster. And Little Leela, what does she have in store? Is she building tank here? She goes for Resist Magic. Magic Attack, Resist, Spirit up. A nice little buff against the Magic team on Sandrooster's team. And Engelbert actually really far back here as the tank. That's kind of a curious positioning. Wonder if he's trying to get everybody to go around the stairs. Flare coming out from Murmur. How much damage does this do? Little Leela's a good Magic tank. 1482, so not bad. Especially with that barrier coming out from Aerith, I expect her to tank up magic damage well. Mashri Queen of Horn, though, if anyone was going to do damage, it's going to be her. Halloween Lucia, hasted up, pops the Good Fortune, Shell, and Crit Evade. It's going to be incredibly hard for Sandrooster to do damage to this team. They have so many magical defense buffs. Yeah, even the 100 cost unit only doing 1800 damage to Little Leela. Gets the counterattack, though. 1900 helps and gets the magic reflex. The double... Oh, boy. The double counterattack, but the silencing spell coming up from Little Leela. This is going to be a very uphill climb for Sandrooster. Healing Wind comes out from Aerith. Pops the Limit Break, going to heal the entire team. I'm just not sure how Sandrooster's going to do any damage to this team at this point. He has Queen Mashri silenced versus an incredibly magically tanky team, but the Defense Destroyer actually doing good damage from Murmur. A new upgrade for the Red Mage job. This is now a magic-based attack. So you pretty much can just build straight magic instead of a mixed damage for Murmur. Damage caps the Engelbert from Halloween Lucia. And does Little Leela take him out? Yes, she does. Silencing spell comes out, takes him out. And I think Queen Mashri is silenced for like 2 more turns. The magic reflex coming out from Murdo, so she is trying her hardest, but this is going to hit Queen Mashri. She's going to drop. Has her re-raise? No, she doesn't. She does not have a re-raise. This is probably over. Aerith coming out. Is this a heal? You have to imagine it is. Holy Prayer. And this team from SurfTaco is just so damn bulky versus magic. And some really good options, honestly, considering that Halloween Lucia's biggest weakness is magic. Being able to apply magic resistance up, spirit up, and a magical barrier is huge. The Limit Break comes out from Halloween Lucia. Very, very cool animation, but it misses due to the magic reflex. As the player's phone times out very briefly, Halloween Lucia. Little Leela comes out. Chicken Blade drops the Bravery. This 40 cost unit, kind of putting on a show. Aerith going to go for Comet, 1966. And this Murmur is really tanky for a 40 cost unit, but she can only hang on so long. You have to imagine... Nope, Halloween Lucia not going to take him out. Good Fortune comes out. Kira, a nice buff. And they're just going to keep buffing. Who can finally take out this Murmur? She is damn tanky. Chicken Blade. Will she finally attack them? Probably Stonera. Yep, Stonera Innovator. Not bad damage, honestly. If she had some allies with her, she might stand a chance here. Can someone actually kill someone, or does this go to turns? Toad's Curse comes out, 3469 with the follow-up attack. Yeah, Arcane Shot doing a ton. SurfTaco finally takes him out. A pretty convincing game 1 win for SurfTaco, I will say. Sandrooster, unfortunately, still trying to search for that first point. What does he switch up to? Still have not seen a team comp with the Zaz on his first overall pick. I'm surprised about that. Does he finally bust it out? Does he go something like Queen Mashri and Summer Helena as a double 100 cost unit? Does he go for like the double Jaydens? Does he go for like Summer Jayden Ibarra to get that Dark Ramu synergy up? I don't know, but let's go ahead and check out game 2 and see what he decides to switch to. Game number 2 here from Sandrooster. Do we finally see it? We see Jayden here. Is this a pairing with Murmur or Engelbert again like he's done in the past? Or is this the double Jayden comp? This is the double Jayden comp. This is Jayden Rundall, Summer Jayden, and Zazan. Does it work as well as I think it would? I feel like this team could just be so scary because they can do so much damage from far away. Jayden pops out, goes Magic Blast immediately, and that is some good damage. If you can hit them before they get their buffs off. Summer Jayden can't beat this heat, so he can't hit from that range, but he gets his buff online. And Aerith, I think, is not going to be able to do a shield. She's going to have to heal right out of the gate, right? Little Leela, resist magic. So starting to get those magical buffs off. Can they heal up and buff up before the team gets taken out? Keen Blade with the CT up. What does this look like? Holy Prayer comes out, but it only goes on Little Leela, actually. That's actually huge. Magic Blast Plus comes out. Aerith is now down, and this is looking much better for Sandrooster. Summer Jayden could follow this up. Maelstrom Jet, 8,000. Good lord. And this is what I was talking about. I was wondering to see when we would see this team come out. I thought this would be his most used team throughout the season, to be honest. But the positioning working out perfectly for Sandrooster. Can Summer Jayden take her out right now? Maelstrom Jet. Not quite enough. So he's like, hey, hand off the kill to Jayden. No, regular Jayden's going to walk back and buff. He said, let's just play around with our food for a little bit. Shadowlink's on ice. Can she take out someone like Zazan? Oh my god. The counter comes out from Summer Jayden. And as much as that game one was one-sided for SurfTaco, it was the exact opposite for Sandrooster. That was an incredibly quick match. I mean, the timestamp on this video is less than 2 minutes. That was incredibly fast. That double JAYDEN comp positioned perfectly there. I do wonder, you know, does Sandrooster bring out the same comp? Does SurfTaco just go to the other side of the map? Because with the stairs on the side here, they have some really good height elevation, and I do think that benefits the JAYDENs tremendously because they're allowed to hit from kind of like up top there. So curious to see, does SurfTaco go with something completely different or just change up his positioning? Let's go ahead and jump into game 3. Sandrooster finally getting his first point of the season. And one thing I want to mention real quick is I am pretty confident, I've said this before, but Sandrooster did not have a single 3-game series all of last season. He won 4 series 2-0 and lost 5 series 0-2. And then the only series that he had more than 2 games was in the playoffs, which were best of 5. So props to him for finally getting a 3-game series. Good job, Sandrooster. Sorry for hitting the mic there, but let's go ahead and jump into game 3, and let's see what happens. Game number 3 here between Sandrooster and SurfTaco. Sandrooster switching it up, said, hey, I know that double missile worked really, really well, but I think it might not work as well in game 3, so I'm changing it. Still technically double missile, to be fair. JAYDEN and Queen are both technically double missile, just not in the same way. Queen does not have the same height ranges, but she's a very powerful unit for only 80 cost. In our format, she's only 80, not 90. So Halloween Lucia, this is the exact same team as game 1 from SurfTaco. Protective Familiar, so getting all of those really, really nice magical defense buffs. Crucially though, Queen, even though considered a hybrid unit, has a lot of offensive physical firepower. A lot of times when you play Queen, she gets silenced and healing power down. That's rough. Honestly, not super rough. What I was about to say, this is actually a very relevant topic, is the only spell that you really want to try and get from Queen most times is her Limit Break, as Jamming Thrust comes out from JAYDEN and takes out the little Leela. That magic tank is now gone. Yeah, the Limit Break is really all you're looking for from Queen. Otherwise, most of her damage comes from the physical side, but Sudden End means there is a sudden end for Queen. She is gone. It is now a 2v2 WR units on SurfTaco's side versus JAYDEN and Murmur. Does SurfTaco pick up another win with this comp? 36-35, so a little bit of offense coming out from Aerith, something we rarely see. JAYDEN going drill shot, 84-82, one shots of Halloween Lucia. Now this is looking in Sandrooster's favor again. I don't think Aerith has the... If she crits, this will kill JAYDEN. Sorcerer's Storm, 36-26, just barely, not enough. She needed the crit to get that kill. JAYDEN, though, how much damage does he do? He actually goes for the Limit Break, says, hey, that shield you got, I'm not a fan of it. Let's get rid of it with a multi-hit chain. That is a lot of damage. Aerith drops to the King of Rundall, sitting with 200 health on his side, and Murmur doesn't have to do shit. She's just going to sit in the back and say, hey, let's pick up this win for Sandrooster, get himself 3 points on the board, and right into the thick of it of the standings. So speaking of standings, let's go ahead and check out the stat leaders after week 3 and go check out the standings as well. Okay, guys, 3 weeks of matches in the books. Let's take a look at the assist leaders after 3 weeks for the Rundall division. So there is a 2-way tie for first between Naya and Uni. Both units have not managed to pick up a kill yet this season, but they've been part of the winning squad in a bunch of different matches, so that is why they're both sitting at 20 assists up at the top. For the Supperenes, they've got Little Leela in third with 14. The Corpse Brigade, Mustadio, having some pretty good success early in the season with 11. Again, another Supperenes unit, Aerith, with 10. My team, the Demon Detectives, Shadowlinks, also at 10. Gumi Slime at 9. The Gnostics, Lucio at 9. Surges at 8. And Valade at 8 as well. I think some interesting thing to note about the assist leaders, like I said, sometimes these numbers can get slightly inflated just by the fact that they're on a good team overall. That being said, I think Naya has been very, very much outperforming her 40 cost tag, and even Uni has had some moments for himself, and at only 30 cost, just the fact that he's only 30 allows a lot of really good units to be paired with him. Little Leela at 40 has shown to be a very successful like magic tank. She can really take some hits. And the Mustadio and Aerith have both been really, really interesting to watch. So some cool things to look at here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kill leaders. After 3 weeks for the kill leaders, we've got my little Leela the Bold with 10 kills all alone by herself. Only 1.67 kills per game, so she's been brought 6 times, 3-3 record overall. Starlight Elena has been very dominant, 9 kills total, but again, only brought for 4 matches rather than the 6. Zoma and Alaya, both for the Shoopufs Sweetheart, both performing really well, 8 and 7 kills respectively. Delita at 7 for the Corpse Brigade. Glaciella was at for Pineapple Pizza with 7 kills, and Perrine, again, only brought to 2 games, but still on this top 10 kill leaderboard with 6 kills overall. Cloud for the Gnostics has been very, very successful, and JAYDEN Rundall, who we got to see quite a bit this week for Sandrooster, getting a lot of kills on the board, now on that top 10 leaderboard with 6. And of course, Lucia Halloween has been very, very strong as a unit in both divisions, to be honest, with 6 kills overall for the first 3 weeks. Most importantly, however, though, this is what everybody needs to look at. It is the standings for 3 weeks into the season, and wouldn't you know it, we have a 3-way tie for first place right now. Machen X with the Shoopufs Sweetheart, Coppola with the Gnostics, AllSmokedUp and the Gumi Gods, all tied at 9 points, all with a 3-0 record, and all exactly +5 games in the win-loss column. They have all won 6 games and lost 1 single game, but nobody has dropped a set. I have them ranked in this order. They're all 1 technically, but the way I sorted it was I just took the most total points from the opponents that they've played up to this point and ranked them that way. So like Machen X's opponents were Sandrooster, SurfTaco, and myself, and that just happened to be like the most total points from those 3 teams, and it's how I sorted them. That being said, they are all perfectly tied for first. That is not actually a tiebreaker, and all the tiebreakers to this point are exactly even. So when will this tie break? At some point it will, but we don't know when. We'll have to see. 4th place, Willie Goats. After starting the season, after I beat him 2-0, he has had 2 weeks in a row with 2 convincing 2-0 wins. So a very nice job by him, all alone in 4th place. Myself, I am alone in 5th place with 5 points. I will say, I'm pretty okay with this start. I have a total of 4 game wins and 4 game losses. And to be honest, my opponents up to this point have been the Shoopufs Sweetheart, the Gnostics, and the Corpse Brigade. So I've faced 2 of the top 3, and then also the person in 4th. So honestly, to be at 5 points with that schedule, I'm feeling pretty decent about where my team is, and I think I have a chance to try and make that top 4. In 6th place, we've got SurfTaco by himself with 4 points. Unfortunately, couldn't pick up that series win against Sandrooster, but he's still keeping himself in the thick of it. 2-way tie for 7th between Mr. Aloha and Sandrooster. Mr. Aloha with that -2 game loss overall, so just a slight tiebreaker over Sandrooster currently right now. However, they have not played each other, so that obviously can change in the future. King Delita in 9th place right now with 1 point. Unhindered, unfortunately, with 0 points up till this point, but again, he has had a very tough schedule. He's played some really high-level teams up to this point. I have faith that he will get on the board and get some points going throughout the season. And like I said, there are still 6 more weeks, and there's also the supplemental draft after week 5, so there is 1 more unit that every team can add to their team after 5 weeks, and that's based on reverse order of standings. So the worse you're doing, on one hand, you do get a better pick in that draft, so hopefully that will help some of these teams who are near the bottom. But to be honest, the league is fairly competitive. We've got a 3-way tie for first, but after that, this is wide open, and so many of these teams play each other throughout the season that anything can happen, anything can shake up, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So thank you guys so much for watching. These first 3 weeks have been a blast. Can't wait for the next 6. Tomorrow's video will be the Unhindered division, and I just want to make it known to you guys that the week 4 video is going to be very, very different. So I am going on vacation. I will be out of the state from where I live, and I will not have the time to film the videos. And basically, I had 2 options. One option is I have the videos come out very late, probably like almost a whole week late. I didn't want to do that. I really want to try and keep as consistent of a schedule as possible. And this next week of videos should be the only week that won't fall into the consistent Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning schedule. This week will be different in the sense that almost every single game, probably every game, will be casted by some of the players in the league. So I think this is a really, really cool opportunity to see some of these other players give their takes on the matches, maybe share their thought process and stuff like that. I know we are going to have, I believe, Sandrooster, I think Ram9, Turambar, I'm trying to think of who else, but we've got 4 or 5 different people interested in casting some of these games, and I think it'll be really cool to watch them do it. So I figured since I'm on vacation this 1 week, I'll allow some of these other players to get their chance to, you know, share their input. And I think what I'll probably do is I'll have them cast it, submit the footage to me, and I'll compile it all into these standard 2 videos. The videos will probably be 1 or 2 days late, but it's so much better than being like an entire week late. And then week 5 will resume in the exact same fashion, where I will be casting the games and so on and so forth in the future weeks. So again, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the video tomorrow and next week, with it being very different. I hope you guys like that too. It'll be really exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.